Hi, everyone, and welcome to Stamp and Chat. Tonight it is Wednesday Whimsy, and I'm so excited to see so many of you already here. Just always like to start by asking if everybody can hear me okay. I need one person from Facebook and one person from YouTube to just let me know that my sound is coming through. I think it is, but I always love to get that reassurance from you guys. Welcome. I see so many of you coming. Oh, wonderful. I got a thumbs up here on YouTube, and I'm just waiting for someone on Facebook to tell me that they can hear okay. So many of you from all over the world have joined me tonight, and some of you, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I appreciate that so much. I can't even believe that you waited up to be here live with me tonight. So thank you so much for being here, and I have a lot of fun in store for you tonight. Now, some of you may have read what I posted on Facebook earlier. On Facebook, I posted that tonight's theme is all about perfection. And I also said, we're going to talk about it, and it's never going to happen. And I believe that. Perfection, I've been reading a lot about perfection lately because I see a lot of things on social media that sometimes make me feel like I'm not doing everything right. I see people really achieving, and I see people, yeah, perfection. I see people achieving, and I see people, just getting out there and doing all kinds of wonderful things for humanity. And there are days that I wake up in the morning and it takes everything I have just to put my bra on so I can go into work. And I think, how do they do it? So I want to talk a little bit about perfection. I saw a great quote, and a lot of these quotes I see, they come up on social media and they don't have any credits for them. So I'm sorry if it's your quote and I'm saying it, I'm sorry if I'm not crediting people. I just don't know who said it the first time. But I saw one Facebook block go by that said, have no fear of perfection because you'll never reach it. Right? So I don't know why we're trying so hard to be perfect. I also wanted to say that you don't have to be positive all the time. It's perfectly okay to feel sad, to feel angry, annoyed, frustrated, scared, or anxious. Having feelings doesn't make you a negative person. It makes you a human. And now, a couple of people asked me about my jewelry, and they noticed that I wear this necklace all the time. And if you can't see it or you didn't know what it was, it's a lotus flower. And just recently, I was at one of those shows where they have all the different vending booths, and they had some jewelry at one, and I bought this, and this is a lotus flower ring. I really like the lotus flower. I like what it stands for. The lotus flower really stands for the human condition. Even when its roots are the dirtiest of water, it still produces the most beautiful flower. And that's kind of where we are right now, right? Our feet are in the dirtiest of water. We're trying to get things done, but together we can do beautiful things, even if they're not perfect. So I have a couple other things that I wanted to say. I saw one quote that said, remind yourself that it's okay not to be perfect. I did post that a few days ago on my Facebook page. But at the end of the night, I have what I think is the perfect quote to think about over the next few days. And I will tell you that at the end of the show, and then I will share it over on Facebook. I wanted to show you something that came today. On one of my last broadcasts, I talked to you about my kind of secret hobby that I've been thinking about my whole life and never really doing, and that's trying to plant some food. I'm kind of really excited about it, and my seeds came today, and I wanted to show you what came. So I got some arugula. I do not know where this arugula is from because I didn't know that word meant arugula, but on the back it does say instructions for salad arugula. So this is the arugula. I also got some oregano. because I'm Italian and I can't cook without oregano. I also got some catnip for Alicia's cat. And honestly, the way things have been going lately, I might actually try some of this myself. I got some basil. So I'm going to try to grow, like, I don't know, some herbs maybe on my patio. And then I also got some scallions, some peppers, and then I don't know what I was thinking. I got corn. Corn grows really well here in Wisconsin, and it's really big and it's really tall. And it says that in order to grow this corn, you have to have soil that is nitrogen rich and good drainage. And I don't have either one of those things. So we're going to see what happens. And then I got asparagus. I don't like asparagus, but everybody else in my family likes asparagus. So I'm going to grow asparagus for them. And here are those little containers I was telling you about that have 750 holes. It was a stack about that high. And then each one has 6 little holes in it. And so I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm not gonna pressure myself. If the stuff doesn't grow, it doesn't grow. But I just want to give it a shot and see what I can do. And I have so many of you out there that I can ask for help, because I know a lot of you do this and you do it really well. All right, so I do have my candle going. I don't know if you guys like candles, but candles in the evening always make me feel kind of cozy. And I noticed right before I went on tonight, there was sunlight streaming down here from a window that's kind of across the way. And I thought, wow, it's already 7 o'clock and the sun is still shining. So that's kind of exciting. All right, so tonight I thought we would make a floral card. But the first one that I want to make almost kind of monochromatic feeling. So the stamp set that I thought I would use is an old one. This is called, I'm going to bring my other camera in here. This is called Bold and Blooming. And this used to be part of a kit. I'm going to use these 2 images. I lost my thank you stamp, and that's one I could really use. But I think I'm just going to use Hello Friend for tonight. And then if we have time after I make this card, then I was going to do one with the flowers. And I was going to use this stamp set, and this is called Grand Greetings. And I thought this would be a really good stamp to use. Many thanks for all you do. It's a nice bold stamp, and then I can just do some floral things around it. Now, as most of you know, if you've joined me for these lives before, you know that I don't plan anything other than I grab a couple stamp sets right before the live, and these were the 2 that I chose. So I'm going to start with my Misty, and I've cut some cardstock down. Now I have all kinds of cardstock already cut, and this is one that I found. This is some craft cardstock, and I cut that down to 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And I'm going to try to line this up onto this piece of cardstock. So again, things take me a little bit longer than they do in my regular videos because, well, they don't really take me longer. I just cut all of that out. And you get to see the struggle here. So I'm going to actually move this down a little bit so I can see it. And then I will put it back up in the corner of the Misty once I get it lined up properly. The trick for this was to get the 2 stamps lined up so that the bars are even on the sides and they're straight. And the reason I chose not to do this image all as one stamp, they are different, the top and the bottom. They're a little different, not much, but a little bit. But the reason I chose to do them separately is if you want to put a really tiny greeting in there, you can put them close together. If you want to put a real big greeting in there, you can put them far apart. Or if you want to use one of the greetings in the set, then you just have to make sure you have enough room for that. So let's see how this looks. This looks pretty straight. You'll forgive me if it's not perfect, right? And now I'm going to pick it up with the door of the Misty. Yeah, it looks pretty straight. And then I'm going to stamp this with some black onyx ink. So I might have to stamp it twice because this is kind of a big image. And I really want to get it nice and dark, but we'll see. Okay. So I'm going to stamp this the first time, make sure that's right up in that corner. Ah, did you see what I just did? Let me flip that over, wipe that on my pants. Oh, now I better ink it up again. Okay. And I'm going to stamp it. Okay, let me get some good pressure on there because it's a lot of stamp. Are the Misties better than the Tim Holtz Tonic? You know what? I've never used the Tim Holtz one, but I've heard a lot of people have a lot of great results with it. I bought a Misty and, you know, that's kind of the one that I use, but I've heard people have good luck with both. So it's really kind of a personal preference. You know, stamp positioners they're not cheap. They're so worth every penny though, but they're not cheap. So I think sometimes you find a lot of YouTube artists that get one or the other, and then that's just what they stick with because they've made the investment. Okay. All right. I'm going to stamp it again. See, this is real life. This is live. All right. We'll try it again. I do have another piece, and I might have to cut another piece for my next one. Let me see where this stamp set is going to fall on here so I can use my magnet. Oh, I got plenty of room. I don't know why I didn't think I did. Okay. This is not very smooth cardstock. Our craft cardstock is a little more rugged. Like most of our colored cardstock is not as smooth as our white. It's smooth. It's not a textured cardstock at all, but our white is so super smooth that it makes it really easy to stamp. Okay, now I'm going to give it one more shot here. And I'm going to just do the best I can with this. That looks good. I'll try pressing this way. It's not really about the stamp positioner. It's about the amount of pressure that you put on it. There we go. All right, that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to pick this up here, and I'm going to clean that stamp first before I continue on, because that's a lot of problem. I let ink dry on my stamps. I get too excited and I want to get right to the coloring, and then an hour later I go back and clean it, and sometimes it's got residue on it. So I'm going to be good and clean that right away. And then we can color this. Now, what I thought I would do with this is instead of coloring it in bright colors, I thought I would just use a white pencil. So I'm sure some of you have white pencils out there. And I just picked up this pencil at work because I had only bought a handful of colors and I didn't have white. So last time I was there packing orders, I grabbed a white pencil and I thought this might be a really fun, more monochromatic look. All right, let's see. I'm just checking your questions here. I see there's a whole bunch of new comments. Are you guys laughing at me, at my struggles? I hope so. That's the point. Okay, all right. So it looks like you guys also, one thing that I noticed, and I love that in these lives, is you guys give each other advice and opinions too. So if you see a question, you guys jump in, and I think that's awesome. So I'm just going to start coloring this with white. I'm not going to use any Gamsol. I'm not going to do any shading. I just want to accent each little segment here with white. And I think that's going to look really pretty on that craft. Again, most of my techniques are not really difficult techniques. They are made for people who just like to make a simple card. But doesn't that really just kind of pop off of that craft cardstock? Love that. I'm going to scroll down here. Oh, Rebecca said, we would never laugh at your struggles. She said, I can rarely make a card without a smudge mark. It's like my signature. I love that. A signature smudge mark. I should definitely keep this piece then because it has my signature right there. All right. So I'm going to keep coloring here. And if It doesn't really make a difference if I put it on full screen or half screen. It's still the same size, so I'll just keep my face in this way. If I want to look up and talk to you guys, I can. Now, another thing that looks really nice with this kind of look is when you use a white gel pen. And I might accent a few little parts of this with the white gel pen, just so you can see the difference, and then it will also make the two whites look a little bit different. So this white will be softer, and then the gel pen will really make it pop. So I kind of like the way this is coming out. One thing that you can also do is you can add a different color on top of the white, and it will be the true color because you've put white down first. So this is kind of a fun way to, it's almost like the black magic technique where you color an image in first all in white on black cardstock, and then you color over the white with color, and everything really pops and it looks very magical. I have a video on that, and I also have a video doing that on craft that I called Craft Magic, and you can find both of those on my YouTube channel. You see these bangs? This is what happens when you cut your own hair. Oh, that was a good day. That was fun. So anyway, about being perfect. You know, a lot of times I will go on to social media. Social media is really the thing that gets me sometimes. Social media can be one of the greatest tools in the world. It's keeping us all connected, and I love that. But sometimes social media makes me feel a little bit less than. I might see people, you know, having big family gatherings, and I don't have a big family. So sometimes that makes me feel a little like, oh, I wish I had that. Even when things are going really well with my family, you still see things sometimes that make you feel like, you know, look at how much fun they're having, and I'm not having that same kind of fun. And that's pretty normal, but we have to protect ourselves from that sometimes. Sometimes it's good to just take a little social media break now and then. Focus on the good parts of social media, the YouTube tutorials, the cooking things that, you know, you see things in recipes and get ideas like that. Maybe if you're trying to garden or you like making jewelry or just whatever kind of makes you happy, those are good things to focus on. But one thing that I've noticed for myself is I'm trying to do it all. And there are days when I wake up where I don't feel like I can do any of it. And I'm sure you guys sometimes feel the same way. So it's okay to take a little snooze, kind of just push the snooze button on some of the social media. There are people that are doing phenomenal things out there. They're making masks by the thousands, and they're, you know, doing meals for families, and they're making cards and sending them to nursing homes, and a lot of the things that I want to do and I think are really fun to do. But there are days when I wake up and I say, I can't even keep up with my own ideas. So give yourself a break, because you're not meant to be perfect. And some days you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed and you drink your coffee, and that is a success. And be okay with that. You don't have to be perfect. Oh, I hear a dog barking outside, which means that any minute my dog is going to start to bark. So how do you like the way this is coming out so far? Do you like this just white on craft? I really like it. I'm going to see some of your comments here. Yes, Paula, yes, I agree with you. I'm just going to show your comment here. Paul, oh, that's not Paula's comment, but what is the name of it? I missed it. Are you talking about the stamp set? The stamp set is called Bold and Blooming. Wow, the comments are flying by, and I can't even see where the one is that I highlighted. Thank you, Joni. Somebody just posted, I feel the same way. Sometimes there's just too many ideas. That's true. It's almost like a social overload. And I know you guys can see that I'm smudging, so I'm going to get my mono eraser and just erase some of those smudges. That's another way to erase that signature that we were talking about there. That's because I inked it up so much and didn't give it much time to dry. And I'll show you where the culprit is. Right there. See that? That's the culprit. So I'm going to wipe that off with my tidy towel. So you like it even though you didn't think you would, Cheryl? I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of simple, but it's pretty. It's soft. Sometimes you have to make those cards for people where maybe you're sending them a get well card or even a sympathy card, and you think, I really don't want this card to be too bright. I want to be a little bit more subdued. It's almost like a respect thing where you don't want to go too bright because you don't feel like it's that respectful. So there is the difference between the top colored in with just the white and the bottom with no color. So anyway, I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. So I see wonderful people doing wonderful things, but there are those days where I just wake up and, getting dressed and sometimes it's not even getting dressed. I think on Sunday, I didn't even get dressed. I just got out of bed and I made coffee and I just laid on the couch and I just stared at the wall for a while. And that was pretty much all I had the energy to do. And the way I was feeling, honestly, that was a successful day for me. And it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. I know homeschooling is a tough one for a lot of people. I don't know how I would do it. And I know you probably see on social media pictures of people homeschooling and it's all going very well. I can tell you right now that would not have gone well if I had to homeschool my kids. You would not have been seeing any pictures on my Instagram about that. That's not easy to do. And I've seen posts where some people are really real about it and it's really funny. And they'll say things like, I learned this stuff in college and my 8-year-old is doing it. And that's where I would be like, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So for those of you moms and dads and big sisters and big brothers, aunts and uncles that are helping out with the homeschooling, bless your heart. That is a lot of hard work to do. And don't feel like a failure if you're looking at it and going, I need Google. I bet Google is getting hit with all kinds of math terms and all kinds of grammar questions. Oh, gosh. Oh. So this is pretty cool. I didn't think it would go as fast either, which means that depending on the time, I might have time to get that second card in. But I do have some leaves to color, so we'll see. And I do want to add the gel pen. So if you guys, all you need is a white pencil for this. If you don't have a white pencil, I also had some other light colored pencils. I have a really super pale gray that I thought I needed for like shading around the outsides of things. And I haven't really used it for that with pencil work, but it would be also another really neat color to use. So even if you don't have white, just find something really light. Like I think this one here, this is called French Gray. And you see how light that is? It's not bright white, but it's a very pale gray. And I think that would work as well. And then if you wanted to try something completely monochromatic, but in a color, here's a real pale blue. And I think that would be beautiful too. So try a couple different ways to do this. And you can even do this with Crayola pencils if that's all you have. Dig through your kids' school supplies and see what they have. I do want to do a crayon resist video for you guys. It's been a long time, probably 10 years since I've done a video on crayon resist. And I definitely want to try something like that live and see how it goes. But I praise and honor and respect, and I'm thankful for all the heroes out there that are making masks for our nurses and doctors and cooking meals for their neighbors and sending cards to everybody. I have days where I feel like I can get my cape and put it on and I can be super, and there are other days where my cape just stays in the closet. And that's okay. All right, so there is my card. What do you think? That is like so easy, guys. That is really, really fun. So how do I sharpen my pencils? That's a great question. I have this pencil sharpener here called the Eye Point Orbit. It's by Westcott, I believe. And this is the battery operated one. Let me show you the other one. I've talked about it before. And here it is. So this is the electric one. You can see it's quite bigger. And the difference between these two is this one, the electric one, has a metal blade in there or a metal component inside. And this one has a plastic component. But I haven't noticed any difference between the way they sharpen. And what I really love about them is they don't sharpen the pencil all the way down to nothing, where you have like a brand new pencil and you put it in there and then it goes all the way down and you have a nub left. It doesn't do that. It seems to just kind of stop when it's sharp. So no, I'm sorry. I don't sell this one on my website. I think probably some of the bigger stores online, like Simon Says Stamp, they might have it. I'm sure some of your local stores have it. If they're doing curbside pickup, they might have it. And also you can find it on Amazon. Okay, so now I'm going to put a greeting on this before I go any further. I probably should have put the greeting on first before doing all that work, especially the way I'm stamping tonight, but I'm going to go for it. So we're going to use the Hello Friend stamp. Put that in the middle. So I was thinking for Friday night, it's Flashback Friday, and Friday night I'm going to go on live. What if we all wear our pajamas? Can we do that? Can we have a pajama party together? I think that would be really fun. I would love to wear my pajamas on a live. That would be new for me, to wear pajamas on a video. So I think we should do it. Okay, so I'm inking this Hello Friend up with black onyx, but when I do greetings, I like to use the little ink cubes. I find that I have a little bit more control over them and I don't get it all over the door of the Misty. So let's get that on there. Oh yes, hallelujah. I didn't mess it up. So now I'm going to add a little gel pen, but before I add the gel pen, I am going to mount it on my card base, because then I can just put it aside and let the gel pen dry for just a couple minutes. It doesn't take a long time for the gel pen to dry, but the way things are going for me tonight, I'm going to do the gel pen last. I'm going to still work on this little smudge right there. I am smudgy tonight. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I have a piece of black cardstock here. My bangs, my beautiful bangs. I should just wear the clip-in hair. Oh, you know what I found? I found a wig. I might wear a wig with my pajamas. That will be fun. You got to tune in on Friday. Pajamas and a wig. Okay, so I'm going to add that to this black panel. And let me get that in place. I have so much ink on me right now. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but my hands are raw from washing them so much. I have been washing them nonstop. I'm just home here all day, and well, I'm at work too, but I'm not like going out and seeing real people, and I'm just washing my hands 1,000 times a day. It's becoming, I mean, I know you should always wash your hands, but I'm becoming a little bit obsessive about it. It's probably good, right? Okay, so I'm going to put that onto a white card base. I'm going to use this one. I think white would be good for that. Yeah, that makes everything just... Okay. This is kind of, I like these stamps because they're kind of like coloring book stamps. They just have tiny little openings, so you don't really have to worry about doing a lot of shading. And then I'm going to find a gel pen, and this gel pen was recommended by Christina Werner. I watched one of her videos, and she recommended this Uniball Signo pen. She had a video with all different gel pens, and I like the way this one looked the most. So I'm going to just fill in these with the whiter white. You can get that pen flowing, and then you just get that nice little dot into each area. And you can see that's brighter than the other white. You'll be able to see it clearer too, because I will take a picture of this and post this in our Facebook group and also on our Facebook page. Now, for those of you that are on Facebook, we do have a Facebook group. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, and it's a really fun group. Very supportive, kind of like, for those of you that go back, way back with me, you might remember the Stamp TV website. It's very, very much like that. Very supportive. You post something and you get just a million comments and likes. People really support your work and they tell you what they like about it. And it's very helpful. I love it. So if you are looking for another Facebook group to add to your arsenal, Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, we would love to have you. Okay, so I added white just to some of the little detail areas just to make that pop a little bit more. And the thing with the gel pen is it actually looks a little bit raised, because it kind of is, because it's a liquid coming out of that pen. And I'm just doing parts of it so you can really see the difference. I'll have to erase all my smudges better, and then I'll take the picture. I find that the mono sand eraser works really well though on our colored cardstock, because the cardstock has a little bit more of a tooth to it, meaning it's not quite as smooth as the white, so it doesn't take much to get those smudges off. And you saw me erase them. So you're talking about. Okay, almost done here. Just a couple more. There we go. That's my finished card. So I hope you like that one and like that technique. Oh, thank you. Somebody said I have beautiful hair. Wait till you see me in the wig. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'll show you on this screen too. Let me go solo here and you can see what this looks like. My lighting in the front is just a little whiter, so you might be able to see more of the true colors, but I'm not 100% sure. So that was a really super easy card to make, and you can stamp a bunch of them, get it set up on the Misty, and just make 10 of them, and then take them into the living room and sit in front of the TV and put on your favorite series and just one pencil and color away. So that is my first card tonight. Let's see, do we have a little bit more time? Oh, sure we do. We have a little bit more time. So I think for my second card, I'm going to stamp a couple of these big flowers, and I'm going to do a little technique for you. Let's see here. I do need the Misty for this technique. And I'm going to do some bright color here for this one. So let me find my white cardstock. It's all stuck under my seeds. All right, here we go. So here's a piece. So I'm going to take two, I am going to have to cut another piece of craft. I'm going to take the two flowers here. Maybe I'll do 3 flowers because 3s are good. All right. Let's see. I think. Did I put a dot on that? Okay. All right, we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to do these 3 flowers first in yellow. Well, these are newer stamps too. Sometimes I'll make a video with like a set of stamps, and then we'll use the stamps for Scrappy Hour at our store. And then they get mixed into the store stamps, and I don't have any more. And then when I want to use the set, I have to find a set that's new. So they're not used, even though I've used this set before. So what I'm doing here is I'm inking up these. I'm back. I am back. I hope I wasn't gone too long, and I hope I didn't lose many of you. So I hit my mouse with the lid of the Misty, and it just clicked me right out of the studio. So I know you should see me now. Just stay there. Okay. So I'm inking these up with Wild Dandelion. Okay, I see some new comments. Hopefully you're telling me that I'm back. Yes, okay, I'm back. And I'm going to stamp these with the Wild Dandelion. Now, because these stamps haven't been used much, I might have to do another layer. Oh, that does look pretty good, though. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I know. I'm back. And if that ever happens and I disappear, just don't leave, because I will come back, and I will come back into this broadcast. What happened was I knocked myself into the green room because I hit my mouse by accident. So I was in the green room trying to desperately get back in. Okay, so I'm doing a second layer of Wild Dandelion. So that's nice and bright. Now I'm going to clean those. So let me move my mouse out of the way. I'm going to clean those with the tidy towel. And then I'm going to use some orange ink, but not ink. Instead, I'm going to use an orange water-based marker. And I'm sorry about my light fixture above. You can see the ring, but hope you can see what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color part of the stamp like this. Actually, I can color over the whole thing. It really doesn't matter. Just like that. So I'm coloring the inside little flower. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp that. And that gives me some color on the inside of that flower. So I'm going to do that again. Let me wring out my tidy towel. It's a little wet. Okay. I really need to wear more dark clothing because I wipe everything on my clothes. I don't know if you guys do that too, but I tend to just, like right on my shirt. So now I'm going to add a second color, and I'm going to use this red marker. Let's see here. Let's see how this looks. Ooh, that's kind of fun. And we'll see what that does. It looks like nothing there. Hopefully everything's in the same spot. Yeah. So there, I made it a little bit darker in the center. I'm going to hold that up closer to the camera and see if you can see that better. So I wasn't perfect. I went a little bit outside the lines, but this is giving me a fun kind of boho style flower look. So I'm going to clean that one off, and then I can go back with some stamp cleaner and get that off, but even if I can't get it off, it won't transfer, so I'm not really worried about it. If you're a person that does not like your stamps to get stained, then you might not like this technique as much, but I really don't mind. I'm more about having fun with the stamps. So I'm just coloring the stamp in, basically. And I'm going to try to do both of them at the same time here. Not both colors, but both flowers. Maybe I'll even try both colors. Ooh, should I? I really had fun with you guys on our Merry Monday show, and you guys helped me pick colors, and then at the last minute I switched it up. But those kinds of videos are always really fun for me to do, where you guys help me pick. Okay, I'm gonna see if that works. Let's see how that is. Yeah, that worked pretty well. I said I was going to do both at the same time, but I chickened out at the last minute. Didn't think I could do it. And we'll do this little sunny circle. If I had more colors, I'd try a different color in the center of the other one, but I didn't bring all my colors over. So I'd have to go digging around in the cabinet. So we'll just go with this. And then I'll put a little red in there, and then I'm going to die cut them. Okay, I had to look down to see which one I already did. It's also, if you have watercolor paper, it's also fun to spritz this with water and you get a really pretty little watercolored look. Okay. There we go. And so that's what they look like. That's a fun technique. As long as you have a stamp positioner like the Misty, it's easy to do because the stamp is going to stamp it at the same spot and you can just change up those colors. You can also use, if you don't want to use markers like I'm using because they do stain a little bit, you can use a tiny sponge dauber. Rena had some of those. They just fit over your finger and you can just dab the color on, and that works really nicely too. So let's cut these out using the die cutting machine. Now I did show you guys a technique the other night that I used. And again, I think I'm going to do it the same way, but I am going to do just the front shot right now because it is a struggle for me to get my die cutting machine underneath the camera because the camera is so low. I'm trying to get that close-up shot for you. So this Bold and Blooming Flower set has a die set that coordinates with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little grouping of templates that I can use to cut these out so that they're perfectly centered. And if you didn't see the Monday video, I did this on the Monday video too. I like to do this because it allows me to get perfect placement. And I'll show you what I mean. And especially with these flowers, because they can be a little bit tricky because they're almost, you know, the same going around, but they're not. So you really do have to line them up well. I think I lost one of my dies. There it is. Okay, so let me see if I can get this into the frame. I'm going to lay this tray over here, and I'm going to bring the other side in. So here's the tray. And then what I do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors. And I told you guys about the Brutus Munroe scissors. Christopher Allen gave me these at Junkie Fest last year, and I really like them. They're very good scissors. But I'm just going to cut that little template apart. Just cut those off. I don't really need that much. Okay. He told me he was going to send me another pair because, see this little tip here? It comes off. And he has another color tip that you can put on, a red tip. And then you know which scissors are used for gluey, papery things and which scissors are used for ribbon. And I think that's pretty genius. So this is the tricky part. And I usually mark my dies so that I can easily find it, but didn't do that for this set. So I believe that these big ones go over on this side, but that's wrong. So it's going to take me a few minutes here. Once I find it, then I'll mark it. Well, that looks good. Does that look good? No. Wow. What is wrong? Oh, maybe it's this way. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be this way. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to get a little bit of purple tape. Do you guys spin it around as many times as I do? I have to see what you're saying because you definitely should be commiserating with me like that. The stamp set that I'm using is Bold and Blooming. So I'm going to use a little purple tape here. And I'm going to make sure that that's lined up and really nice and centered. I feel like this is worth it. Some of you might not feel like it's worth it, but for me, it's really worth it. And now I got to do the same thing again, for crying out loud, and try to find where it snaps into place. And I know somebody said flip it over. I thought about that, but then I thought, well, the die wouldn't cut that way, right? So, boy, this looks right, but it's not snapping in place, so it's not right. Now, what I usually recommend when you're doing this is to mark your stamps and your dies with a little dot. But I didn't do that. So I'm just going to go around here for about 2 hours. And I'll see you Friday, and I'll come back in and I'll still be turning this thing. Come on. Oh my gosh, you guys probably see it. You're probably screaming at your screen right now for the right way to do it. Are we having fun? I'm so glad to see all the laughing faces, because that is like what totally makes my day, is you guys laughing at me. I love it. So I might not get this card done, but I'll definitely get this one flower cut out. There we go. Hallelujah. Now would be a good time to have like 40 of these all stamped and ready to go in the same direction. But it does give me confidence now that I've got it right. So I'm going to cut this one out. I might do a shortcut here because I don't know how much time I have left. So I might just do one flower and a couple of leaves for this card. This will be a race to the finish. This will be like Rena and Simon when they did that 10-minute stamping challenge on Rena's YouTube channel. Holy cow, was that funny. So there's my flower, but you can see it was worth it. Maybe not to all of you, but it was worth it because it's really cut out, centered. And that really makes a big difference to me. I think that it's, I don't know, yes, I should mark it. You're right. I should mark the stamp with a black dot on the back, and I should mark the die with a Sharpie on the die so I know those petals line up. And I will do that next time, I promise. But I'm going to put these other flowers aside, and I'm going to stamp 2 leaves here. We can go over a few minutes. It's not like I'm on network television. I'm not like Oprah, where her show has to be done in an hour, right? I can stay a little longer. I might. All right, so I'm going to take these 2 leaves and I'm going to stamp them both at the same time with some jelly bean. I like these leaves. I like the texture in them, these little striped textures. And I bet my friend Kathy Rakusin would be able to color these beautifully with all her shading and her colored pencil techniques and stuff. So there we go. And now I'll cut those out. And those I'm not going to be as careful because we don't have as much time. So you'll see the difference between being careful and winging it. I'm going to wing this one. Hopefully I'll get it right. Okay, I think I got this one. I'm really taking a chance too. I'm not even putting tape down. All right, this one's not bad. I'll show you. That's not bad, right? Pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to do one more, because I do want to talk to you about my final quote, because that's important. But stamping's important too, right? Oh, I think it shifted. Look at these bangs. Oh my God. Okay. Yes, you're definitely laughing with me, because I am laughing a lot tonight. Okay, this one doesn't look that bad, but it's not as perfect, and you can see what I mean, where it's more white down here than up there, but it's close enough tonight. Okay, so on Friday, I did a little crisscross technique, and I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock here. I'm going to do 3.5 inches by 4 3/4, because that's what I cut the black piece to work with. I had a little backup. And then I'm going to do my little crisscross technique, but it's going to be more subtle. I'm just going to use some warm cocoa ink and just do a little subtle blending. Like that. And I do have pixie spray on the back of this stencil. Put that back, because pixie spray is better when you've got, I really need to re-pixie spray it though. It's better when you've got like little pieces that can move around. That didn't hurt it though at all. And also with the stripes, I do, instead of doing a circular motion, you can kind of do this kind of motion, and then it doesn't come off as bad. Okay, and now I'm going to crisscross it. I feel like this look is just so springy. It feels like Latticework. And this one I'm not doing quite as dark. There we go. And that gives me my little checked pattern. Like that. Now, I have some strips cut out. I found some strips. And these are actually going to be my greeting panel. So that's going to go across the center of my card. And I definitely want to do this for many thanks for all you do. I think I'll put that down here near the bottom. Maybe I should do a little crisscross on here first too. I think I'll do that. But it'll be super light. It's just what's left on my brush. Just a tiny bit of texture. So it's not going to be as dark as the background, but it'll give me something. I think I've actually pixie sprayed both sides of this stencil. Okay, that's good. So let me wipe my hands with my tidy towel, my dry, shrivelly hands. Okay, so now I'm going to get my Misty for this greeting. And I'm going to lay my flowers out first, because I want to see how I want this to look. So I want to have the flowers kind of, flower going off to the side, but I want to have enough space for the greeting. So for all you do, I think I'll put it down here, and then I'll work the flower around it. Okay. So that's going to be low. Put it low and down off to the side. And then I am going to use my magnet. That magnet was stuck to my camera mount and the Brutus Munroe scissors. All right, and I'm going to use black ink for this, because I am going to use that little black piece of cardstock to highlight everything. Let me find my little black ink cube. Here it is. So you can't see it, but I'm inking this up. Looking pretty good here. Okay. Many thanks for all you do. There are so many people we could send this to, huh? Let's get that a second time. I think it's my magnet holding things up. I'm going to take the magnet off and I'm going to give it one more pass here. Okay. We're doing good. I might get this card done. Okay. So there we go. That's nice and bright and bold. I think the texture is nice behind there. I thought it felt a little plain. I don't know about you guys, but I do like that little additional texture. So I'm going to tape these two pieces together, leaving that little border. So this is the same size on both sides, but it just has a top and a bottom border. Okay. And then I'm going to do the old leave the dirty stamp in the Misty, get it out of the way. And I have this, and I have a card base. That is not a card base. Where'd my card base go? Here it is, under my arugula. All right. So let's layer these together. Like that. And then we could put this down just a little bit, and then we could pop this flower up here and have the leaves kind of coming off this way. I think that might work. Kind of like that. I won't do the leaves like it's a fish and it's swimming across the card, but I will slide those under once I get some foam squares. Oh, and I got a new pack of foam squares. So I'm going to use my Brutus Munroe snips there. And then I'm going to, let's see here. So when you get a new box of these foam squares, you might notice that the tape seems to go on forever and ever and ever. You're going to slide that. I guess I didn't need to cut that tape, but you're going to slide that under there like that. Here, let me show you over here. So the tape goes into this little flap here like that. And then you're going to pull the tape forever. It's going to feel like I'm getting ripped off. I'm not getting all my dots. You are getting all your dots. This strip needs to be wound around there so that the dots don't stick to each other. And you'll know when you're getting close because you'll start to feel the pressure of the dot coming out, the foam square coming out. And there's the first one coming out of the box. All right, so let me get that one out. That first one, sometimes you have to start it, pulling that first one off. And then the rest come out pretty easy. Okay, so I've got a couple of them here on my fingers. And I'm going to first tape this part down. And this is all going to look, right now it looks kind of drab, but when you get it on the white card base, I think that's when everything is going to just come to life. So we'll put that right about there. And then we'll pop up the flower up here with one of the foam squares, maybe two. I'll do two foam squares. Pull off the little backings, and I'll place that one right up here. And then I'm going to slip, let's see, kind of want the leaves. They do kind of look like little fishtails, don't they? I think that's okay. I'm going to try it reversed just to see what it looks like. I think I like it the other way better. So I'm going to do that. Just going to tape a little bit there and slide it under. Ooh, I could do it that way too. That looks good. I'll do that. My thought process. There we go. And now the thing that's going to make this card come to life, I think, is putting it onto that white card. That just makes it all like, wow. Before kind of drab. Something about the dark cardstock, the craft on that white card base really looks nice. All right, so there's card 2. I don't even know where card 1 went. Oh, here it is. There's card 1. And there's card 2. And that's the Bold and Blooming stamp set. And then I used the Grand Greetings. I'll show this one up here too, just to make sure you guys can see it a little bit better maybe in this light. Yeah, I think the white makes a big difference. All right, I made it. It's just 8 o'clock and now I can finish up tonight with my quote. So here's the 2 cards. I'll be taking pictures of these and posting them on Facebook and on Instagram for you guys to see them a little bit better. I know this isn't the greatest quality all the time because everybody in the world, literally everybody in the world is on the internet right now, all over the world. So, you know, if you're following a lot of people that just seem to have it all together, it's okay to take a little snooze now and then from social media. I mean, it's great to see the wonderful things that people are doing, but sometimes when we look at social media, I have a little thing here about social media that I wrote down. Let's see here. It can be great to look at, it can be great to listen to, and to watch things that inspire you and make you feel good about yourself. That's the kind of social media that you should follow, stuff that makes you feel good about yourself. And there are people doing great things, and they're posting pictures of themselves doing these things on social media. But here's my quote for the night. Don't compare your real life to everyone else's highlight reel. Because that's what social media is. It's a highlight reel. So you look at their highlight reel, they're putting their best stuff out there, and they do that for you because they want to inspire you. But sometimes you look at it and you think, wow, everything is always perfect. It's not. That is a one snapshot moment. And they have a real life just like you do. And they have ups and downs just like you do. So don't compare your real life to everyone else's highlight reel. No need to be perfect. If you try to be perfect, you'll never reach it. Just doesn't happen. Nobody's perfect. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you had a good time here. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's cards and you'll give it a try. I will be back on Friday night in my pajamas, and I might even bring my wig down and put it on at the end of the show. You never know, because this is really getting out of hand. I talked to my friend Jennifer earlier, and she said, I like your long hair, and she made me feel really good, but I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see. It's going to get longer before it gets shorter. We all know that, right? All right, you guys, you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you again real soon.